Good rockin' morning, everybody. Drink your waters today. Whatever waters it may be, consume. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. Hydration's going to be important, especially if you're working outside. I'd imagine if we were working outside, we wouldn't probably go past 3 p.m. It'd be, or 2 p.m. I don't know how hot it's going to be then. If it hits 100 degrees, then I'm not working people in 100-degree weather. So I was thinking, I read a post maybe last night. I think it was last night. Something along the lines of, if you could go back, what's one thing you would change? Well, I have a plethora of things I would change. However, I think if I changed one thing, it could have changed a lot of those things. That one thing would have been focusing not so much on what's going on all around me and everybody else, and focusing on myself. And the reason I say that is, well, for one, you can't get your best results in life if you're focused on everybody else. There's only 24 hours in the day. If you're focused on everything else and everybody else, you'll never have time to focus on us, which in entail will give us bad results in life. But one even bigger key point than that would be, I'd have been very careful who I listen to about ideas, visions, dreams that I had when I was a young child. When I say young child, I'm talking like 17, 18, 19, 20. To me, that's young. Because I told those dreams to people that didn't have dreams or wasn't chasing their dreams, they shot them down. And I understand why they shot them down. They shot them down because they didn't see that feasible for themselves. So why would they think that it'd be feasible for you? So one of the number one things I would have did is been very careful on who I chose to tell my visions and dreams to. I'd have been very careful in that department. Because number one, not everybody wants to see you win. Matter of fact, there's more out there that want to see you fail than that want to see you win. And that's sad, but that's just the truth. So if I could have changed one thing about going back to my late teen years, early 20 years, I would have changed who I was telling my visions and dreams to. Because telling it to the wrong people, well, they can definitely give you feedback that will negatively impact your thoughts and ideas of your dream or vision to the point of where you don't even try. So if you're young, just little words of encouragement. If you're 30, if you're 40, if you're 50, if you're 60. If there are people around you that are not chasing their dreams, nothing wrong with that. That's their choice. I would strongly encourage you not to tell those people about your visions and dreams. It's like, it just doesn't math. The math don't math. So you're going to tell somebody about your visions and dreams of whatever you want to do in life. I don't care what it is. That don't matter. That substance don't matter. So you're going to tell people that are in your circle about your big aspirations and dreams, that have no aspirations and dreams for themselves. How do you think that conversation's going to go? First of all, they're going to think you're boasting, or they're going to think that you're better or something. They're going to go right to the tank. And the reaction you're going to get out of them isn't what you're hoping for. And it's not going to be what is going to push your idea, visions, and aspirations forward. It just won't do it. I've had people tell me that were very close to me that I was out of my mind for my thoughts, dreams, aspirations, visions to just go do what everybody else does. Nothing wrong with the person that delivered that message to me. That's just where their mindset was. If you share your aspirations with people that don't have visions, you will get shot down. I guarantee that, because the math, it just doesn't math, okay? And the reason I say that is, if they don't see a bigger life for themselves, they're not going to see a bigger life for you. So I would be very hesitant if I went back to my early 20s on who I told my visions and dreams to. Which leads back to, I would also be very careful on who I chose to be around and how much time I devoted to myself. I would not have went out every Friday and Saturday night. I would not have done that. That was the biggest waste. Did I make some decent memories with some people? Sure. But there was a lot more bad memories than there was good memories. So, to be honest with you, I would have not went out every weekend. I would have not, I would have invested more into myself than I did wanting to fit in with certain crowds or be around certain crowds. I would have been the boring, lame nerd that sat inside my bedroom and put the pen to the paper, came up with a plan, and then began to execute. I would have been that guy. But I wasn't that guy. So I had to learn the hard way in life. But I would be 24 years ahead of where I'm at today if I would have did that stuff in my early 20s, maybe late teens, early 20s, opposed to starting to do that in my mid 30s. Early to mid 30s. I've been eons ahead of where I am in now. And I am not upset with where I am at now. I want people to understand that. I'm not bashing where I'm at now. And I'm not ungrateful I'm very grateful for where I'm at today. However, I would be 24 years ahead. So I would be where I'm going to be at 44, where I'm going to be at 64 right now. Good morning, Anna. I don't want to discourage people at 18, 19, 20 to not have friends. I'm not trying to say that. But if you can invest into your 20s and 30s, like I have to do in my 30s and 40s, you will be 20 years ahead of the game. I will be still investing into myself in my 50s and 60s if the good Lord grants me that. However, if I would have invested into my 20s and 30s opposed to literally wasting 2 decades, we might have something like 50 employees right now. We might have something like 150 employees. We might have 1,000 employees. I don't know. The reason I say that is because I'm a high ambitious, high energy, high frequent individual. I am go, 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 go. I was that same person times 1,000 in my 20s. I just used it in the wrong context. Instead of utilizing that ambition and energy and drive into cultivating my future, I used that high energy and drive to get a net negative out of life. Party on the back roads every weekend, smoke pot and ruin my, do drugs, drink alcohol. That's what I look forward to every single weekend, opposed to adding value to the character I was, so I could have had a more productive life and a more high value life. What I mean by high value is I would have been able to enjoy more of my earnings at a younger age opposed to 60 some years old, right? Your quality of life in your 40s is better than it is in your 60s. I'm not saying your mental quality, right? You should be more intelligent, learn more lessons, have a lot more wisdom in your 60s. But are you going to run 5 miles in your 60s? Now, I'm sure there's people out there that do it. But the natural order of the body begins to break down in its 40s. So your quality of life and your physical conditioning, unless you are training every day, is not going to be what it was when you're 40. So because I pissed away my 20s and my 30s, I will still be able to get to where I want to get to by the grace of God giving me that stretch. Just my quality of life wouldn't be the same. In other ways, I'm not jumping out of a plane at 65. I'm not probably going to be riding my 1,000-pound motorcycle down the road at 65. I'll probably be on a 3-wheel trike or something. Your quality of life begins to diminish the older we get. So if I could change one thing, it would have been not to sell my dreams to the wrong people. Because unfortunately, those that are not chasing their dreams will detour you from yours. And I don't even think they mean it in a negative way. They just do not see that possible for them. So why the hell would they think you would be able to do it? It just doesn't math for them. And again, there's nothing wrong with them. It is perfectly fine to live an entire life without any dreams, visions, or aspirations. Millions of people do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're an individual with ambition, dreams, and aspirations, you can't tell those to the wrong people because they will shoot them down. And you, being the caring individual that you are, will want to listen to those people and probably tell yourself, just like I told myself, yeah, they're probably right. I could probably never do that. Yeah, what makes me think that I could actually manifest something from paper into reality and scale it? What makes me believe as a human being that I could do that? Because all my friends tell me that I couldn't do that. And parts of my family, and parts of your family, and parts of his family all say that no, it's not possible for you. So why would you even consider writing down the plan? Well, you wouldn't, because you want to believe the ones that are closest to you love you the dearest, right? So why would they give you information that would be a lie or detrimental to your future? They might tell you something like, go look for security. which I understand that as well. A secure career, a secure job, a secure anything. I understand the comfort of it. People need to pay their bills. I totally get it. But if you have those aspirations and visions, and you might be like, well, what do the dreams and the aspirations and visions look like? You just might want more out of life than what you're seeing looking around you. Like the average house, or the average retirement age, or the average pension when you do retire, or the struggles people go through with medical bills because they didn't make enough, or whatever it might be. Maybe you don't want the new Chevy pickup truck and you want a Lamborghini. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know what your aspirations and visions are. I knew from a young age that I wanted more out of life than what I was seeing on a daily basis. And it's because I believe it's because I'm high energy. I'm very ambitious. I'm intuitive. I want to learn. And the norm bores me. I'm just being me. I'm just being honest and upfront. This is who I am. I'm raw, unedited. I don't hide anything from anybody. It's just who I am, and I sleep good at night putting out who I am. The norm bores me. The norm might be everything you ever wanted. And that is awesome. We're all individuals and entitled to what we want our outlook to look like in life. The norm bores the mess out of me. And what do I mean by that? I walk into the factory, I punch in, I clock in my hours, I talk shit on the job all day with my coworkers. We have a good time, we laugh, we chuckle. I punch out, I go home. Wife's got the meal on the table, maybe I gotta help her prep the meal on the table. I go to bed, I wake up, I do that again. Bores the ever-living mess out of me. Ask me how I know, I've done it. It bores me. It's not exciting enough for me. If you haven't noticed, I am a person that needs excitement in my life to get my dopamine hit. I was a drug addict. I was an alcoholic. I needed that dope. I needed some type of dopamine hits to fulfill my craziness inside my head, whatever you want to call it. So I need excitement, and excitement might be a bunch of problems going on one of our jobs that we all got to collectively come together and resolve. That could be the excitement that pushes me through that day. When I'm bored or it seems like another mundane day, to me, is when bad things happen in my life. I've learned that about myself. Bad things happen to me when I'm sitting around bored. I, with ADHD or whatever, hypertension, whatever you want to call it, I have to keep myself busy productively, or I will lose myself. I will lose myself. So there's a multitude of things I would have changed growing up. But the number one thing would have been being very careful who I told my dreams and aspirations to. Because that will impact the outcome of your dreams and aspirations. You ever hear people tell you, like, if you have an idea, just shut up, write it down on paper, and get to work? That's what they mean by that. Don't even tell your mother or father. Like, because their ideas or opinions of it might not be what you need to hear at that very moment. I would encourage you to write it down on paper, get it started, and then when they ask down the road, maybe you can tell them what's going on. You don't need anybody, we don't need any confirmation from anybody, our mothers, our fathers, our siblings, our aunts, our uncles, our school teachers, you don't need any confirmation from anybody to feed your intuition telling you that you should begin something. You don't need, again, you don't need your dad's permission. You don't need your mom. You don't need my permission. You don't need anybody else's permission out here to get started. I don't know. I think I looked for reassurance because I feared failing. Well, guess what? You're going to fail. And it doesn't matter how many times people reassure you that this is going to work for you. How the hell are they going to make it work for you? We are the only ones that can make life work for us. Nobody outside of you can make your life work for you. So even getting the words of encouragement from others, although it may help push the needle, it's not needed. It's not needed. What's needed is for us to believe in ourselves enough to where we believe we can manifest our crazy ass ideas. Whatever that is. I don't care if you want to be the best yarn knitting, Afghan making individual there is in this country. If that's your dreams and aspirations, you better go do it. Or you'll live with regret. I guarantee you'll live in quiet desperation for the rest of your life. And you'll settle for everything, even your significant other. If you don't chase your dreams and aspirations, you will settle for everything in life and never feel fulfilled. And not having fulfillment in your life is the ultimate setup for dying early. You may still be breathing, but I believe if we're not reaching and making progress, we are already dead. We are decaying by the day when we're not growing. So right where we're at right now, this very moment today, I'm giving myself an example, right where I'm currently at in my current life today, right now. If I don't continue to grow on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, annually process, if I don't continue to grow, I will stagnate and begin to decay. I will begin to rot from the inside out. I will get complacent. Inflation will continue to go through the roof. I'll continue to become worth less. So life isn't about, I also believe this, life isn't about hitting a certain point and then all of a sudden, aha, I figured it out. You don't never figure it out. We're all still trying to figure it out, and I don't care how old you are. If I knew what some of my mentors have taught me over this past decade, 20 years ago, I would probably be working on holding seminars with people in it and trying to influence people to better their life for the betterment of the quality of life in their family's life. Because that's what really drives me as well. I love giving back. And I love personal development because I look at it like a video game. Because it is. It's a game of how much are we willing to invest into ourselves. By the outcomes of our lives, that is the example of what we were willing to invest into our lives. That's not a slap at anybody. That's not a look what my life looked like in my 20s. Shit show, drug addicted, alcohol, in and out of getting in trouble. Your kids, your parents didn't want me around. I was bad news. What did my outcome in life look like? Terrible. It was terrible. I was inches away from the rest of my life in prison, jails, institutions, and death. Inches. I do not know how I made it through my 20s, if you want to be quite honest with you. I do not know. I should not be here sitting here talking. Matter of fact, short story, when my great brother Josh passed away at a very young age, most people in my small town anticipated it was me. They had thought, yep, Justin OD'd, just something happened, Justin passed away. Well, it wasn't me. It was my brother. But most people from my small, that is the imprint I put on the small town I grew up in. Until I began to invest into me, and I mean me. That sounds selfish. Well, if you're not a little bit selfish in life, you ain't never gonna make it. You're gonna struggle all your life helping everybody else but yourself. And then you're gonna die with regret. Guarantee it. And nothing is worse than dying with regret. Nothing. Nothing. Not a nothing. One of the top 5 things that are said before people leave this earth on their deathbed is, I wish I would have did more. I wish I would have believed in myself more. So on this note, I know that got deep. If there was one thing I could change, it would have been investing into me. Not trying to be fit in, not trying to be popular, not trying to make sure I don't miss any event, not chasing women. I'd have been chasing my future. I love you all. Have a blessed day.